Hey there, guys. I want to take a quick second to highlight a partner that we've been working with lately, Upgraded Formulas. You can see them at upgradedformulas.com. I have personally been taking their upgraded T formula to support natural testosterone production. I've noticed it after a few months. I've noticed I've had a bit more mental clarity. My rest is a little better, and I'm recovering a bit better from my workouts, which was actually surprising. So I'm able to exercise just a bit more. I love to exercise, so that's a bonus for me. Women can also take this because healthy testosterone levels in women help with fat loss, mental clarity, muscle gain, things like that. And also, the estrogen and testosterone go together hand in hand. If you support one, the other does pretty well as well. So definitely check them out. Also, they do something really great. I want to highlight a hair mineral analysis where you send them a little chunk of your hair and they will let you know if you're deficient in anything or if you have too much of something like heavy metals in your system. So what this does is this is a great thing to help give you data on your health so that you can make decisions. None of this is a miracle cure. All of it is just information to help you make better decisions around your health and supplementation. All right, so really check them out. They're doing some really great quality. They're seeing some huge results, and I believe they're going to have some clinical studies coming out pretty soon. So check them out, upgradedformulas.com. Use the code ADAM10 to get a 10% discount today. Hey there, guys. Welcome back. Adam Bro here with Adam Bro Fitness. I am a personal trainer, functional nutritionist, and a pastor working with those who are in the nonprofit space mainly, who want to steward their health so they continue to do the work that they really feel like they're called to do. If you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, whatever, just click the buttons so it helps us to get our content in front of more people. But ultimately, our goal is simply to help people find health or steward the health that they've been given. I don't claim to be the one who knows everything, but I do find that I have the ability to explain, and I just have a passion for this stuff. So hopefully you are enjoying our content so far, and we really hope that we are adding some value to you. This is something that I love to do. It's something that I feel I'm called to do. So at the end of the day, I'm going to keep doing what I feel like God's called me to do, and I'm going to keep taking care of myself so that I can do that for longer. So today I'm going to start a little, what I would consider a small series of frequently asked questions. And these are just me answering questions that I get asked quite often. I tend to have quite a few men will reach out to me quite a lot, just because that's what guys do. And one of the most frequent questions I get is, how do I boost my testosterone naturally? And so we're going to dive into this quickly. I'm going to try to run through this as quickly as we can, and try not to belabor the point. I think the first thing we need to think about when it comes to boosting testosterone naturally is to realize that we have the cart before the horse in the way we're asking the question. When we ask the question, how do I boost my testosterone naturally? The presupposition is that you are not actively suppressing your testosterone through your daily habits. Okay, so we're assuming that you've got all these ducks in a row and now all of a sudden you are at peak performance, but I want to boost that total level. So the question is kind of misleading. The real thing that we are trying for most people, trying to get them to do, is to stop actively sabotaging their testosterone levels. Okay. So, and we do this through a variety of lifestyle and habit choices that we tend to fall into unknowingly or willfully, right? In some cases. Okay. So, I will post a little bit of this on social media, but I'll go into much greater detail here. If we want to first stop actively suppressing our testosterone levels, the first thing we have to do is make sure we're sleeping. Okay, you have to make sure that you are sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night of uninterrupted sleep to the best of your ability as consistently as possible. Now, sleep is going to be affected by many of the other things that I'm going to share. Okay, so that's why sleep is number one, is because it's foundational. Your body cannot operate optimally if you are fueling it and helping it to recover in a subpar way. You're not going to just will your way forward and get more testosterone out of things. Like I hear people say, if you just do more squats, you get more testosterone levels. There's no evidence that that's true. Some guy was doing squats and felt good about himself one day and thought my testosterone must be up. That's all that is. There is no evidence that if you do legs more often, you have higher testosterone. There's none of that. Okay. And even if it does increase from compound movement, it is so minimal and transient that is not going to affect your mood and is not going to affect your gains. All right. So the first thing though is sleep. All right. The reason why sleep is so important is because it is a fundamental part to you functioning as a human. You have to recover. You have to run through these processes. Sleep is not just unconsciousness. Sleep is like a reboot and a system optimization that you run through every night. There's a reason why you are induced with temporary paralysis while you're sleeping, because it's running through like motor checks and system checks that need you to be still while you do that. Okay. So we need to make sure that we are sleeping to the best of our ability. And there's a few things you can do to help your sleep. One is to make sure your room is just dark. Just make sure it's dark. Okay. Your skin is photosensitive. Your eyes are photosensitive. So you want to make sure that you are protecting your melatonin levels by limiting the amount of light you're taking in, especially right before bed and even while you're in bed. So, having your TV on while you're sleeping definitely affects your sleep. Having blinking lights in the room, like your fire detectors and other things like that, definitely turning the notifications off on your phone is a big deal too. So we want to limit the amount of light that is hitting our skin and especially our eyes, like the few hours before we're going to bed and especially while we are trying to sleep. All right. So this is also for people who maybe have to get up and urinate in the middle of the night, which happens it happens many times for ladies after they've had babies, but also happens as we get older. We just don't have as much bladder control. So when you get up, you shouldn't get up and turn the bathroom light on, because that much light and that quick, like going from dark to just pure light, immediately shuts off the melatonin release. And now you're going to have trouble getting back to sleep. And if you do get back to sleep, it's not going to be as restful. Okay. Because you basically woke up and went back to bed, like literally woke up. You didn't like groggily go to the bathroom and then stumble your way back half asleep. When you turn that light on, you literally just stop the process. Okay. So we want to limit the amount of light. Number two, when it comes to sleep, optimizing your sleep is you want to make it nice and cool in the room. As cool as you can. Some places it's not very affordable to run your AC at lower levels. But it's up to you what's cool enough. I turn my AC down to like between 68 and 70 at night, depending on how hot it is outside. So I'm drinking my coffee. When it's really hot outside, we don't turn it quite as low, because there's such a degree of difference between outside and inside that, one, I don't need my AC to run that long, but then two, a couple of degrees difference doesn't really change too many things. When in the winter, we definitely get it much colder because it's pretty much free to do that. Because at lower temperatures, you just tend to sleep better. And then you wrap up more, you're more snug in your blankets, which creates a sense of safety, and you just feel more comfortable. Okay. So cooler temperatures make a big difference. Avoiding screens before bed is another big one. That is really helpful. Avoiding alcohol before bed, hours before bed, especially everybody's a little different. For me in particular, if I were to have maybe some type of bourbon or whiskey several hours before bed, I know I'm going to wake up around 3 o'clock. It's just the way it's going to be. If I have a beer, not too bad. If I have wine, not bad at all. So everybody's a little different, but avoiding alcohol before bed is a big deal. Many people think that alcohol helps you sleep. It helps you get to sleep, but it does not help you stay asleep. It actively cuts your REM cycle short. So we need that REM cycle in order to restore our bodies. Okay. So being conscious about how much alcohol you're drinking before bed is a big one. Okay. The second thing on how to boost or stop suppressing your your melatonin levels or your testosterone levels. Sorry about that, little slip up. Is to make sure that you are getting plenty of sunlight. This is a big one. Plenty of sunlight is a big deal. Vitamin D is a precursor to many of the steroid hormones that we use for muscle growth and feeling better as a man or a woman. So if your vitamin D levels are suppressed through you just living like a vampire and going from one building to the next building and never really getting in the sun, then you're actively avoiding something that helps your testosterone levels normalize. All right. So getting plenty of vitamin D, direct sunlight on the skin is great. Now, don't get weird. You don't have to get weird and be like, well, I heard a guy say that you need to sun your butt and stuff like this. You don't need to do that. If you have privacy and you can do that and be weird, fine, go for it. But you just need direct sunlight on your skin so that your body can synthesize vitamin D. If you are living in climates where you don't get lots of sunlight, then you need to take it. I take it and I still live in the South. I take vitamin D and I still live in the South. If you're going to take vitamin D, realize that one size does not fit all. All right. The lighter your skin is, the less vitamin D you need, okay, to supplement. So when you have darker skin, let's say you're African American, it's like you have sunblock on, okay, because your skin is dark. So it takes a little bit more exposure to synthesize enough vitamin D. So someone with darker skin may need to take more than someone with lighter skin. So somewhere between 2,000 and about 10,000 IUs, depending on how dark you are, per day is pretty good. Above 10,000 is not really good. I've heard of people taking upwards of 20,000. 20,000 is whenever you're getting towards toxic levels, and it's just not healthy. You don't need that much. Okay, you're just overdoing it at that point. So get plenty of sunlight. Another thing you can do to actively stop suppressing or boost your natural testosterone levels is to lift weights. Just getting stronger will help you boost your testosterone. Okay, your muscle mass is directly influenced and helps influence your testosterone levels. It's influenced by your testosterone levels, and it can influence it can influence how well your testosterone is performing. A big part of that is, and this is another point, is getting less fat. The more fat tissue you have, usually the more suppressed your testosterone is. Some people, that's not the case. Obviously, there is a ratio between how much fat to muscle you have that makes a big difference. But the less muscle mass you have and the more fat you have, your testosterone levels are going to be not as good. Okay. So as we switch those two, we drop fat and raise muscle mass. We're in a much better, a healthier place for our testosterone levels to normalize to what yours would be normally. Okay. So some people think that when you boost your testosterone levels, you're going to get something like 200 or 300 extra points of testosterone. That's very difficult to get above what you naturally produce when you are healthy and just doing everything right. Okay. If you're doing everything right and you're sleeping good, you're doing what I'm saying, like lifting weights, getting plenty of sunlight, plenty of vitamin D, then it's going to be very difficult to boost your testosterone levels without some form of external supplementation, meaning taking testosterone in. Okay. So there are some herbs out there that purport to be able to do it. I think Tongan Ali is probably one of the only ones that has shown any real efficacy in doing that. Tribulus and all this other stuff that people are always selling you, like from Nugenics and all this other stuff. It's a bunch of hooey. It doesn't work. It has not performed well in any test that I have seen. If you have tests that, or studies that look like it performed well, I'd love to see them. I'm open to learning more and I'm open to being wrong, because if there's something out there that can boost your testosterone naturally, then I'm all for it. So we want to make sure we're sleeping. We want to make sure we're getting plenty of sun. We want to make sure we're lifting weights. And that doesn't mean just cardio. Okay. We're not just doing cardio. We're lifting weights. We're actively getting stronger. Okay. And then we want to eat a healthy diet. Okay. A relatively healthy diet. Fewer processed foods, more whole foods, lots of good animal products like steak and pork and chicken, eggs, cheeses if you can handle them. Lots of animal products, fish, oysters, salmon, like just animal products are going to be the best for helping you build muscle. Cholesterol is very much needed in order to make testosterone. Most of your androgens are built off of the back of triglyceride, the triglyceride from cholesterol. So you need cholesterol in order to build your androgen. So if you want to increase your testosterone or stop actively suppressing it, being on a low-fat diet is a great way to suppress your testosterone levels. So eating good, healthy fats, lots of, fatty meats, steak, fish, fatty fish. Don't go nuts and eat a bunch of sausages and bacon and stuff, because that just gets out of hand when it comes to the number of calories you're taking in. Remember, being less fat helps you, right? We don't want to be more fat. We want to be less fat. So we want to make sure that we're eating plenty of animal products, but then we're avoiding lots of junk foods, trash, over consuming sugar and things like that, and especially in multiple sittings throughout the day. We want to make sure that we're eating a relatively healthy diet, something that maybe your grandparents or great-grandparents would have eaten, because they just didn't have access to all the trash that we have today, right? We have all this health food. It's all health food. So it's labeled, but really it's just trash that had protein added to it. Like any protein bar, for the most part, is a protein bar, for instance, should be used as, an emergency, not as a staple, in my opinion. It's just a candy bar with protein added. Okay. So we want to make sure we're eating a relatively healthy diet. The more animal products you get in, the better you're going to be. Eggs, excellent for you. Steak, excellent for you. If you can get some type of heart or liver in there, if you can stomach it, it's great for you. Just don't overdo it, because you don't want to get some, mineral toxicity or like vitamin A toxicity and things like that. So we want to make sure that we're eating a really good diet so that we're not actively suppressing our testosterone levels. All right. So these are a few things that you can do to raise your testosterone levels. But again, at the end of the day, it's going to be having good habits that don't suppress your natural testosterone levels. All right. Also, managing your stress is probably a really great one, because cortisol levels, when they are higher, that would be your stress hormone. Remember, cortisol is not a bad thing. You need cortisol. It's the thing that makes you wake up in the morning. Okay. So it literally makes you alive. Okay. You need it. If you had no cortisol in your body, you would be like a vegetable. You would be, well, I think it's called Addison's disease. Addison's disease can make you like, you don't have enough cortisol in your body. So you basically just turn into like a vegetable. Okay. So we don't want that. You need cortisol, but it's having high levels of cortisol that cause problems, and chronically elevated levels. And a lot of these things are connected, right? If you sleep poorly, if you have a crappy diet, if you're not exercising and lifting weights, then your cortisol levels are going to probably be higher. because your stress management is low. Okay. Lack of sleep is stressful on the body. Having a crappy diet is stressful on the body. Okay. And then not exercising does not doesn't give you an outlet for that stress. All right. So it's just, this is like, it's compounding over here. So we want to try to manage stress to the best of our abilities. And this can even come down to the type of exercise that we choose. This is why weightlifting, in my opinion, is very helpful, because it is at a moderate pace. It doesn't feel stressed. It doesn't feel pushed. Many people who choose cardio as their form of exercise, they're just literally taking that stress button and just pressing it more and more and more and more and more. High intensity interval training, same thing. They're just pressing that cortisol button over and over and over and over and over and over. And eventually it wears out. And eventually it just turns into an issue. So I truly believe that weightlifting is the form of exercise that most people should choose 80% of the time. And then 20% of the time, you need to be doing cardio just for your cardiovascular health, and making sure that your lungs are in good shape, your heart's in good shape, your vascular system is in really good shape. So you have to be careful with stress. Okay, we live in a very stressful time. We consume stress on our phones. We scroll through stress. We actively seek out drama when we're on our phones, if you think about it. And all those things have a negative impact. So limiting the amount of stress you put yourself under is really, really, really important. Okay. So these are a few options that we can use to help us stop actively suppressing our androgen levels. Now, this is the same for ladies too. Ladies, same thing, maybe a little bit different in our approach, but on principles, it's basically the same exact thing. Okay. Ladies need testosterone the same as men do. They just proportionately, they just don't have as much, but it's still just as important. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful. If you need help with some of these habits, there are plenty of articles written. There's plenty of information out there that can help you start learning how to navigate these situations. All right. Nobody has all this at once. This is skill acquisition. Okay. You start small. If I were you, I would start with sleep. If you've got your sleep under control, then I would say start with your diet. Then start with your diet. If you've got your diet under control, make sure that you're getting sunlight every day. If you're doing that, then hey, let's work on our stress management skills. Okay. Are we praying? Are we meditating? Are we taking time to decompress? Are we spending time with loved ones? Are we doing things that actively rejuvenate us? Or are we avoiding those things and actively seeking out information or video or content that creates a stress response in our bodies? Okay. So now we're learning the skills of trying to navigate this journey. Okay. So I try to tell most of my clients, like, listen, you're not going to get this right. You're not going to get this right out of the gate. You're going to get it right slowly, slowly, slowly. It takes time. It's a skill. Health is not something you just have or don't have. It's something you acquire. All right. So you need to acquire the skills to live a healthy life and navigate the landscape in which we live in. And it takes time. All right. So hopefully this helps. I appreciate each and every one of you who listens. If you have questions or concerns, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Just direct message me. Would love to talk, would love to chat. Or if you want to email me, my email is adam@adambro.com. We would love to chat with you. And check out my book on my website, adambro.com. It's called Faith and Fitness, Integrating Your Physical Health into Your Spiritual Practice. And we would love for you to join us, by reading that and just helping us to spread the good word of stewarding your health so that we can continue to do what God's called us to do. All right. Hopefully you have a great day. God bless.